This is where MAGA comes to talk. And talking, we will be doing. This is a great day, people. This is a great day. We are one day closer. We're one day closer to justice being done. Tulsi Gabbard's naming names. Pam Bondi formed the strike force. I mean, this is it. This is why we voted for Trump. This is exactly what we wanted, and we're getting it. I mean, this is swamp draining, man. I mean, this is it. This is swamp draining. It's Thursday already. Isn't that nuts? How could it be Thursday already? Okay. But it is. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We will be live in about 10 minutes. Tulsi Gabbard's done a lot, that's for sure. And now, so far as Bongino and Cash Patel, they got this strike force that Pam Bondi's formed. They got to be a part of that. They really need, Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, and Bongino, what they need to do is have an epic press conference like Tulsi Gabbard did yesterday. That would help a lot. Let us know what's going on. Oh yeah, this is exciting. We're welcoming a new sponsor to the program today, too. Yeah, if you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. Absolutely. Yep, it is a good day, people. It is a good day, a great day. The press conference was spectacular. It was a perfect press conference. Perfect. I mean, Pam Bondi has them all freaked out. They're all freaked out over Pam Bondi and Tulsi Gabbard. I know they're trying to play it cool, but no, they're in a panic. Yes, they are. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We'll be live in 10 minutes. The show will start. We'll be taking calls and covering everything that's happening. And a lot is happening, man. Oh, my goodness, there's a lot happening. For the life of me, you know, it just amazes me how many people don't get that the Epstein stuff that's out there is just desperation from these people that have been caught by Tulsi Gabbard. Okay. There you go. I can't believe it's Thursday already. Where has the week gone? It's flown by. It's definitely flown by, without question. Welcome, everyone. Where is everyone located? Like, what state or country are you in? Every once in a while I ask that. It's always interesting to see. Oh yeah, Handcuff Friday would be nice. Handcuff Thursday would be better. Ohio, California, North Carolina, Florida, Virginia, Michigan, Denver, Colorado, Vero Beach, Florida, Savannah, Maine, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, LA, Columbus, Ohio, my hometown, Venice, Louisiana, Alaska, Miami Beach, Kansas City, Missouri, Minnesota, England. You don't hear people say England. England's making a comeback, dropping all that United Kingdom, UK stuff. Michigan, getting their identity back. Georgia, London, Ireland, New Zealand, Texas, Georgia, Pleasanton, Texas, Conway, South Carolina, Ireland. Awesome. Yeah, I just don't understand why more people. I mean, do you guys agree that all this Epstein stuff is a distraction from this coup story? I believe it is. It's obvious. India. You're from India, but are you in India at the moment? Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome, everyone. We'll be live in about 6 minutes. Washington State. Jasper, Georgia. That's right. Get my cats going here. Oh, welcome everyone. Coral Springs, Florida. That's right. Ocala. Ohio. Boy, oh boy, it was raining this morning. It just stopped a little while ago, thankfully. It's hurricane season in Florida, so it rains a lot. Yeah, we're welcoming a new sponsor today, Balance of Nature. You can save 30. You'll save 35% off your order with the promo code Brian, whether you go to their order through the website or by phone. So brand new sponsor, Balance of Nature. Very excited to welcome them to the program. Palm Beach, Manga Central. That's right, Kenny. That's right. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We'll be live in less than 4 minutes, and then I'll start the other stream. If you're new, on the green screen, you don't get all the effects. Here on the green screen, you get me. You can see and hear me. You'll hear the callers. But to hear the audio sound bites that I play, you'll have to go to my other stream that I'll start right before we go live. You can see the articles and the videos and everything that I share and get the benefits of the green screen effect. This green screen, if you look at any of my behind the scenes videos, you'll see it. This green screen, it's like the best green screen you can get. It's amazing. It's like a projector screen in reverse. It's on the ground. It's very long, and then I just pull it up. And then when I'm done, I roll it down and then close it up and lean it against the wall. 3 minutes and we'll be live. 3 minutes. Yep, and if you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. About 2 minutes, we'll be live. About. The time we come on depends on the length of the commercials that are airing on the radio station. And how long the traffic report goes and all that.
Mostly clear with a low of 82. Weather brought to you by Calais.
See, not the weather, traffic.
Robbing you of your quality of life. If you answered yes, you have to try Calais Pain Relief. Calais Pain Relief cream relieves arthritis, joint, and muscle pain better than anything you've ever tried. Calais, get back to doing what you love. Now available in your local public supermarket in the pharmacy section. And now, a true oldies traffic.
Here's the traffic.
Now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor could order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now of Boca at any lab test now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. It is Thursday morning already, can you believe it? And this, of course, is Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Celebrating 48 years on the radio. We've got a lot to cover on the program today. A lot has happened. Did you guys catch the historic Tulsi Gabbard press conference? It was amazing. In fact, that press conference Tulsi Gabbard had yesterday at the White House very well may be without a president and taking part in it, because, Gerald Ford had that press conference, after there's been president. Without a president being at the podium, that press conference yesterday of Tulsi Gabbard's was probably the most historic and significant at the same time White House press conference in the history of White House press conferences. It was absolutely amazing. She named names. She detailed the crime operation organized by Obama. She gave the names. She gave the dates. She has the receipts. She has the documents. So we're going to cover all of that and more on the program today and take your calls. I got to tell you, what really shocked me about what's going on in our political world today is how few people realize that all this Jeffrey Epstein stuff is a distraction from all these Obama crime stories that are coming out. And the liberals have these bizarre talking points, Excuse me, guys. I'm all choked up out of the history-making Tulsi Gabbard. In the press conference yesterday, and this carried on the 5 with Jessica Tarloff, some idiot from CNN, also on television yesterday. But one of the idiots in the press conference, one of the media, said that Tulsi Gabbard, all this coup and everything that's going on, this was 8 years ago. It's kind of old. It's not news. It's old. Why are we even talking about things that are 8 years ago? Really, that's what they're going to go with? 8 years ago? They went after President Trump with that E. Jean Carroll stuff that was like, we don't even know what year, but was like 30 plus years ago. Was it the accusation? Oh, 8 years ago. Long time ago. Why are we even talking about that? Really? Are you kidding me? That's one talking point. And that's a really weak one. That is one of the weakest liberal talking points I've ever heard on any issue. That's a really bad one. Really weak. 8 years ago. Too long ago. Then they have another one. These are just insane. Why didn't President Trump expose all of this in his first term? If it's so important, why not his first term? Well, they didn't know about these documents in the first term. Remember, these documents that Tulsi Gabbard has been declassifying, they are ultra top secret, right? They were classified at a level higher than top secret, and they were kept secret from everyone, including President Trump and his administration. So they keep saying, well, why didn't he? One of the reporters asked this in the press conference yesterday. I've had callers even ask me this yesterday on the air. Why didn't they do this in the first time? They didn't know about these documents. The documents were hidden. These are some of the weakest talking points. But, the media they have a duty and a loyalty to the deep state of which the mainstream media are a part of. Make no mistake about it. CNN is an arm of the CIA. I've said this for years. Anderson Cooper in college interned at the CIA headquarters. Who does that? And then he went on some bizarre world tour backpacking as a stringer reporter. Yeah, right. And if you go back to the show that made him famous, The Mole, that was a CIA farm training op, that whole game show he was on. Dana Bash at CNN, her husband she gets the Bash names from is a senior CIA guy. So it is a CIA network. That's how they grew so quick and had all these bureaus everywhere. And if you remember, CNN was put on the map during the 1991 Gulf War, the first Gulf War after the invasion of Kuwait by Iraq, and CNN was the only American news outlet that had a reporter in Baghdad during the war, Peter Arnett. Remember, how do you think that happened? Because there's CIA, that's how. And there's other deep state operatives and DNC operatives at different media outlets. But this story yesterday, when Tulsi Gabbard dropped all of this in detail, it was huge. And these people in the media, they dream, they fantasize, they tell themselves they all want to be Woodward and Bernstein. They have a story that is Watergate times infinity. Watergate is less than a speeding ticket compared to what Obama was doing. And there's a lot of documents. We got all the proof. And I watched this live yesterday, the press briefing. The White House press corps, they looked bored. They were having a hard time staying awake. And I've seen this at Trump rallies. If you've been to a Trump rally and you look at the press, they sit bored, uninterested, trying to throw the speaker. That's what they were doing yesterday. They were really, truly annoyed. And then let me pull up one. I wasn't going to play any audio till later in the show, but let me see if I can find this particular one. Okay, yeah, Caitlin Collins at CNN. Did she just buy an island or a beach house on an island or something? She's paid a lot. And so CNN, they finally ask a question. This is Caitlin Collins to Tulsi Gabbard after Tulsi Gabbard outlines in detail the Obama coup against President Trump. Okay, say now, Caitlin, aren't you just doing this to suck up to the president? This whole thing was a sting operation. When they asked President Trump that question about Tulsi Gabbard and the Iran nuclear program, that was a setup, setting the stage for this, because they knew these documents were coming out. She didn't say anything that was wrong. President Trump didn't hear her say it. He said if she said it, she's wrong, but she didn't say what they asked. They were discrediting the messenger before the story dropped. Now they're trying to discredit President Trump with all this Epstein stuff, which is like the lead story in the Daily Mail. You know, the Daily Mail was my favorite news source not that long ago. Yeah, I don't even hardly read it anymore. It's a joke. It's all filled with lies. It's like the Drudge Report now. And, you know, the Daily Mail, their lead story is this Epstein tape dropping Trump's name. By the way, all that stuff's older than the 8 years with the Obama, but that's not too old. It's all an attempt to turn the discussion into an Epstein discussion. As soon as this story dropped on Friday, I went online, I went on YouTube because I wanted to be on the record with this. I said, watch. Their talking point, anytime you bring it up, is going to be, yeah, but Epstein this, and Trump and Epstein, and they're best friends, and all these lies. And you see them continuing to try to do that. The Epstein stuff is back because it is an attempt to distract from the true story, and that is the Obama coup. So we're going to go through all of that on the program today. I'm going to play some of the audio of yesterday's events, some audio from the past. We've got some new articles as well that cover some things that happened, and take your calls. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You know, the great Mike Lindell, remember he had a lawsuit against him where a guy was awarded $5 million. Remember that? Well, he appealed it. Associated Press, Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow, celebrates victory after appeals court voids $5 million award. That was a personal lawsuit against Mike Lindell. So he's won that case. The appeals court overturned it. That's a good thing. And there's no better way to celebrate than get yourself some of these great MyPillow products. You know, with our promo code Kane, you can save up to 66% on some of the most popular products. And of course, I've been telling you a lot about the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. I've been sleeping on mine, my wife and I, for years. It will change your life. It turns your entire bed into a beautiful, comfortable, perfect MyPillow. You know, when I go to bed at night, I am asleep in minutes. That's it. Because when I get in that bed, it's like sleeping on a cloud. It's complete serenity because of the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. Huge savings with our promo code Kane at checkout. And it comes in every mattress size, from twin all the way up to California King and Split King, and every size in between. We have it on our marital bed as well as our guest bed, and it's also great for those sleeper sofas, great for the kids. You want your kids to get a good night's sleep as well. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout. It comes with a 10-year warranty. Can you imagine? 10-year warranty. It's crazy. On a product like that, it's unheard of. A 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and save big site-wide, but as well as on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our first break and be right back. Oh, man. What a great time. This is just a great time. We're doing very, very well. We're winning everything. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take some calls in a bit. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Very exciting. These are exciting times, people. Exciting, exciting times.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning, Brian. It's Frank from West Palm. How you doing there? All right, Frank. You were absolutely correct. The Porter roofing was amazingly phenomenal. They just completed my roof last week, and the Porter roofing was superb in all the ways imaginable for installing a new roof on my residence. Tom Porter meticulously spearheaded the entire project from inception through to the finalization of the assignment. Tom handled all the paperwork involved with city permits, inspectors, and my community HOA. He was always available, assuring me that he had my back in all phases of the project. Additionally, Tom, Scott, and Dan, and the entire crew were very well organized with the plan, implemented all policies and procedures, and craftsmanship was exceptional in all stages of the design execution. Tom, Scott, and Dan maintained continual contact with me, the homeowner, asking if there were any questions I had or anything further I needed. Premier Roofing is, in every respect, a stellar, five-star, AAA, family-owned company that is a reliable, peace-of-mind roofing organization. These guys are spot on with regards to perfection, and they demand it. I remain mesmerized upon the completion of the job. My roof is a masterpiece. And one last thing before I forget, they were the least expensive quote that I received out of all quotes for roofing. I thank Tom Porter Roofing for all that they do. Wow, Frank. Well, thanks so much. Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing covers both the east and west coast of Florida and every type of structure, residential, commercial, municipal, able to every type of roofing material. Also, don't forget, Tom Laporta will never sell you a roof you do not need. Simple repair, he'll do. You can also handle the job of any size, whether it's a single-family home or an HOA with over 200 units. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. Frank, thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Brian. You have a wonderful day.
All right, stand by. We'll be back in seconds. We're back, everyone. Callers on hold, stand by. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. You know, Tulsi Gabbard, I'm going to play some of what she laid out yesterday, later on in the program. But after Obama launched the coup, they all went on television and started pushing it. This was Obama. This is in 2018. He's still pushing this Russia stuff. This was when he was out there campaigning for people in the midterms in Trump's first term.
They're undermining our alliances, closing up to Russia.
Ugh.
What happened to the Republican Party? Its central organizing principle in foreign policy was the fight against communism. And now they're closing up to the former head of the KGB.
Okay, see, that was one of the reasons they chose Russia. Because, you know, they're always, everything that the deep state, the never-Trumpers, the Democrats, the Bush Republican establishment people, everything they do 99% of what they do against Trump is they think it'll turn us against him. The MAGA supporters, they think it'll turn us against them. They know we don't like communism. They have these stereotypes that just don't apply. So they figure, oh, well, if we say that he's buddying up with this commie and he's a commie lover, they'll think he's a communist. He's buddying up with this KGB guy, and they'll drop him. That's one of the reasons they picked Russia. It's insane what's going on here. All right, let's take some of these calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Hi, Brian. My name is Evan. I'm here from Ohio. I just wanted to ask you. I'm a little confused. I watch a lot of Hassan Abi, so I'm a little confused. I'm wondering if you could help me out.
Help you out with what?
So
Jeez.
he is implying that Trump is in the Epstein files, and that's why he's not releasing them.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Well, in fact, no.
do you
Pam
think
Bondi went to a judge this week to release them all because these are sealed under court order, and the judge denied it. So go talk to the judge. The judge is the one who's not releasing the files.
Oh, okay. That's new news to me, to be honest. I
Okay.
did not know that.
Yeah.
So, who appointed the judge?
I'm not sure. I think it's an Obama judge.
An Obama judge. Of course it is. Okay. Interesting.
But the whole Epstein stuff. Listen, what he did was horrendous. And who needs to, that doesn't even need to be said. It's just assumed that we all disapprove of what he did.
Yeah.
He's been dead for 6 years. He was out of circulation with his creepo crimes years before that. This is, if this were an ongoing circle of freaks, then hey, let's get to the bottom of it and stop it. But this is, are we going to reopen the Lindbergh kidnapping next? You understand what I mean? So this whole thing with Epstein is a distraction to distract away from this coup that Tulsi Gabbard and the president have uncovered, led by Barack Obama.
So if it was a coup led by Barack Obama, why is he not in power right now?
It's something called, President Trump used this term yesterday, a soft coup. It's not a kind of coup where you send in an army and take over the seat of government. You undermine them, turn public opinion against them. It's the kind of coup the CIA do around the world, to turn public opinion in a certain direction and against certain things and people.
Okay.
It's a coup, but it's also a psyop. It's called a soft coup.
Okay. So do you know why and how the Epstein files?
See, everything is back to Epstein. See what I mean? I'm not talking about Epstein. Everything goes back to Epstein.
I just want to know.
I'm sure you do, but
you were talking about dividing. No. Can I bring up my point?
We'll
so
see.
You were talking about dividing people, and I remember growing up. I was in high school when all this stuff was going on. To be honest, man, and this Epstein file stuff and all the Chomo stuff started as a 4chan meme.
No, it didn't. It was a local crime. It was a local crime.
It was an elite.
No. All right. No, I'm gonna move on. We are not talking about Epstein. I'm sorry. Get your own show. You can talk about Epstein all day, all night. You could do a 24-hour Epstein show somewhere else, but you're not going to turn this program into that. I told you guys this on Monday. It's not going to happen. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Montana Mark.
Hey, what's up?
It's quite incredible how Trump goes ahead to do what the people want, but it's all these Trump-hating judges that keep blocking Trump. Because I heard something on one of the news sources on the internet that there was another judge that was blocking Trump from putting the Epstein files out for the people to see. And we've got.
Well, no, this is an important thing. Pam Bondi President Trump ordered Pam Bondi to release the Epstein files. These files, including this mysterious list, are sealed under court order. Pam Bondi went to a federal court personally to get the judge to unseal the Epstein files. This Obama judge here in Florida, I believe, but it was an Obama-appointed judge, refused. So it's the Obama judge that is covering up and holding on to the Epstein files, not President Trump.
And I think you said in some shows back that all the files were always locked up by the judges, you know, and the Democrats can commit any.
But don't you see what I'm talking about here, Mark? We get this one idiot from Ohio, and now you and I are talking about Epstein. Don't you understand? This is what the whole purpose of this story is, to get us on the defense, talking about this old news that's not relevant with fictitious slanders against our president, as opposed to talking about the new stuff that just came out this week, and that's the coup. Don't you see that's what they're doing? And you're falling for it.
It's the typical Democrat game. You know, they always do stuff to sidetrack from.
That's true. All right, Montana Mark, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. You know, it was raining like cats and dogs this morning. Oh, my goodness. Around 5 a.m., it just was pouring, and it was hard rain, too. It's hurricane season. A lot of people like to say rainy season because they don't like to say hurricane. It is hurricane season. It rains every day, and it rains hard here in sunny, rainy, hurricane season Florida. And if you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, you got a leak in your roof, you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. You know, he's a good MAGA guy. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. If you just need a simple repair, he'll do it. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. You can also text him, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. We'll be right back. Yeah, this judge that wouldn't release the files was appointed by Obama in 2014. 2014. No, it's true. It's true. Oh, we're welcoming a new sponsor to the program today, and that is Balance of Nature. You guys see Balance of Nature? They're all over television. And they reached out to me a couple days ago and wanted to sponsor the program. Of course, I said yes because I've used their products for a long, long time. And you guys know them. You see them on TV all the time. With my promo code Brian, B-R-I-A-N, with the promo code Brian, you can save 35% off your order at balanceofnature.com. You can also call that toll-free number that's on the website, balanceofnature.com, 1-800-246-8751, 1-800-246-8751, and also balanceofnature.com. 35% off with the promo code Brian, B-R-I-A-N. That's my name. And it's pretty exciting, actually, when a big old company like that reaches out and they want to advertise with you. I was very excited about that. We'll be back shortly. I know, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll pull them up. Yeah, right there. You go right to their main website, balanceofnature.com, and use the promo code Brian, B-R-I-A-N, or you can call them right there at that number, and save 35% off your order. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. That's right. Florida's longest running radio show. Yeah, so Pam Bondi went to court, and this Obama-appointed lady judge said no, she would not release and unseal the Epstein files. So go talk to this Obama-appointed liberal judge, okay? And they'll tell you, no. And so it's not Trump. It's not Pam Bondi. All right, let's take some more calls before we get into the new stuff. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Andrew. I'm calling from California.
All right, California.
My name's Andrew. But
Okay, Andrew. Okay, it's fine. Go ahead, Andrew from California. You're up.
All right. I do have a question that I haven't heard kind of been brought up recently, and that's the fact that before the Washington Post reported on Donald Trump's Epstein stuff.
See, there we go. See, everything's Epstein. We're not talking about Epstein.
No,
I mean, are you aware with the? Are you aware?
Everybody.
No, not everybody. You know, are you aware?
What am I not aware?
You're not aware of a lot of things, okay? But we'll find out how much you're aware of. Are you familiar with what the Washington Post actually is?
Newspaper?
Yes, but it's much deeper than that. I mean, in this day and age, there hardly are any newspapers now, right? Newspapers have kind of evaporated with blockbuster video stores. What the Washington,
do you mind?
Yes, I do mind. Yes, because I'm not done. The Washington Post is not a news organization. It is a deep state CIA front that is part of this is a fact.
You're saying Rupert Murdoch is a deep state front?
Rupert Murdoch does not own the Washington Post. No, he does not own the Washington Post. He owns the Wall Street Journal and the New York Post, not the Washington Post.
Then I apologize.
The Washington Post. Do you know what they're most famous for? The Washington Post. What are they most famous for? There's two things.
I don't care.
Well, context and having knowledge.
No, hold on. Like, you can't just interrupt me, man.
I can do whatever I want. I'm hosting this show. I can do whatever I want. I'm the host of the show.
Okay.
Get your own show, and you can decide what's discussed. You know, what do you think? I just open up the mic and turn over the show? This is not open mic morning. The Washington Post.
You didn't even let me in.
Oh, I'm educating you I'm talking to the.
Does the dude wearing a Trump 2028 hat?
Listen to this.
Dude,
Listen to the.
Third term.
Yeah, he can, but I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish with the Washington Post. Yeah, he can. But
it's actually unconstitutional.
It's not. Yeah, I know you're an idiot. The Washington Post is famous for two things. Okay, Watergate.
I don't care what they're famous for.
Well, then, if you don't care, there's no need to continue the conversation. If you're not interested in what I have to say, why even listen or call me? The Washington Post is well known for two things: Woodward and Bernstein and the Watergate coverage, as well as the Pentagon Papers, okay? This total CIA front group. The Pentagon Papers, I'll do that one first because it's quick and not a lot of people know about this. The Pentagon Papers case, they had all these classified documents about the war in Vietnam that they published in their newspaper. And went all over them for this because they publicized classified information from the Pentagon that was stolen from the Pentagon. So what did the courts rule? The courts ruled that the media can report stolen classified intel without any criminal penalty whatsoever. Now, the leakers can go to jail and go to prison, but not the media. How do you get a ruling like that? But most famously, Woodward and Bernstein. Woodward and Bernstein from the Washington Post that are responsible for all of the Watergate stuff, these were not investigative journalists. They were not investigative journalists. Bob Woodward worked with naval intelligence, and he was friends with a senior FBI guy who gave him all the information. The deep state brought down Richard Nixon. A little bit before that, they forced Spiro Agnew out, his vice president. The deep state used their intelligence asset, Bob Woodward, to run Richard Nixon out of office. So what I'm telling you is that the Washington Post is a deep state CIA publication whose sole purpose has nothing to do with reporting news. It's to spread propaganda to try to shift public opinion in certain directions. And the New York the New York Times and the Washington Post have these reputations of credibility, so even though they have no credibility. So when they put something in their pages, people talk about it as if, well, it's the Washington Post, so it must be true. And so far for the lunatic that I spoke to a moment ago from California, context is important. You know, when a publication, when an outlet publishes a certain story, doesn't publish a certain story, or has a certain angle on the story, context is important as to how they come to their conclusions. And it is widely accepted fact now, not when I was growing up, but now everyone accepts that Woodward and Bernstein, CIA ops, that whole reporting of Watergate, and that the Washington Post is a front group for the deep state. They're not the only one, but they certainly are one, and a big one, and one they've had a lot of success with. Remember, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page in those text messages said that they got a copy of All the President's Men. That's the book that was turned into a movie about Woodward and Bernstein and the Watergate coverage. And they said that was their guide on how to bring down Trump. Remember that? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, that was good. You're on the air. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I'm going to tell you, I watched that news conference yesterday, and my emotions went crazy. I mean, I said to myself, look what the slime ball that was the president of the United States that should be in prison because it's unbelievable. I'm watching what he did, how he destroyed lives, how he went after the future president at the time. He didn't let it go, and how Hillary Clinton with her lies and they completely lied to the American people. And those people that were sitting in that room, that press conference, these supposedly reporters, the first thing they do is try to defend this and try to deflect and try.
You know, it's amazing to me. When I watch that press conference, and you go back and you watch the press, these people will tell you, and they tell themselves, that they want to break big stories. They want to be Woodward and Bernstein. They get the biggest story since Watergate handed to them, and all they do is they can hardly stay awake during it. And the few questions they get are to try to discredit the story.
Exactly. They're running interference for these thieves, these liars. I mean, I'm just outraged. I don't know how anybody could call you this morning and defend this, because to deflect on anything. Don't these people know? And listen, if I found out President Trump was lying to the American people and pulling the wool over our eyes, I would turn on him in 2 seconds.
You know, like this judge, like this federal judge that refuses to release the Epstein files is an Obama judge that Obama appointed. Yeah, a Democrat appointed by Obama in 2014. If that was and you wouldn't even know that in the news accounts, you got to search for it. If that was a Trump judge or any Republican judge, that would be the headline. Trump judge refuses to unseal, Republican judge refuses to unseal the Epstein files. This is an Obama-appointed judge. She's one of the few federal judges he appointed that's white. So they're trying to imply that she's a Republican because she's a white woman. But that's not even in the news stories, that she was appointed by Obama in 2014. So now it's an Obama appointee who is refusing to release the Epstein files. That's the story.
I wouldn't even. And I wouldn't even talk about the Epstein anymore.
I'm not.
You're right. I mean, and President Trump was absolutely right. These people, and you know what really gets me? Everyone is saying now that John Roberts and the Supreme Court. I don't know how a president could commit a crime in office. I'm talking about a crime. I'm sure that if President Trump did the same thing that this Obama did right now, that they, in other words, they're saying you cannot touch he's immune. He could go and shoot somebody.
No,
and walk
you only with the Ted Cruz was on Laura Ingraham last night talking about this. I might play some of that later. But he's a top lawyer. There was talk of him being put on the Supreme Court, right? Remember, he was the Solicitor General for Texas before he was in the Senate. And Ted Cruz said, the court ruling that they keep referencing from the Supreme Court says that presidents have immunity from presidential acts, which is like the ones, like the examples I give, if they call in a missile strike on ISIS and they take out a whole village of civilians, they can't be charged with murder, as an example. When you're doing something that is not an official act, like launching a years-long coup against your successor, that's not covered by presidential immunity. If it was, presidents could go around and rape and kill and do anything for life, right? In fact, if that's true, all this Epstein stuff they're fantasizing, Trump's immune, they arrested Trump 3 times. I didn't hear about presidential immunity then.
Yeah, you know what's also amazing? That they never told us. Well, we saw her for our own eyes. I remember when Hillary collapsed, they were shocked. They picked her up and laid her into that limousine. She was a total mess, and they kept that from us. And the Russians were really, when I learned yesterday, the Russians figured she was going to win with no problem, and they were going to blackmail her. And because they had all that garbage on her, she's a mental mess. And
plus, there was something, there was something left out, too, of this yesterday. Hillary Clinton signed off on giving 20% of U.S. uranium to Russia. So Russian nuclear missiles aimed towards American cities are weaponized with American uranium in many instances because Hillary Clinton signed off on it for money.
Man, this is so disgusting to the American people. If anybody calls up, and I'm talking about Democrats, any of these people call up and they try to defend this and say this is the most outrageous thing. They figure that they got a bunch of dummies here. Don't the people realize that this was against not President Trump? This was against every one of us who voted, every American citizen,
That's
and
right.
they're still carrying this crap on with the illegals going on.
Yep. All right, Richie, got to run. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. We'll be back in about a minute. Sorry, guys, my allergies are getting to me this morning. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. Did you see that story the other day that ICE arrested this grandpa? They deported him to Guatemala and he died. Did you see this story? It was all over the place a few days ago. Well, it turns out it was a complete hoax. Don't look for the retractions. However, the New York Post has a story on this. Here's the headline. Viral story about grandpa secretly deported to Guatemala by ICE, then found dead, is a hoax. A widely reported story about a Pennsylvania grandfather being secretly snatched by ICE agents and deported to Guatemala is nothing but a hoax, according to Homeland Security. As it emerged, he may have died 6 years ago. Guy's been dead 6 years. His family told reporters that the 82-year-old Chilean national had been handcuffed and taken away by federal officers when he went to get a green card appointment in Philadelphia on June 20th. Have you seen this story? I saw it everywhere. They then claimed they were told he had died in ICE custody. Now again, keep in mind, they said that he was going for a green card renewal on June 20th. He got picked up by ICE agents. He's been dead for 6 years. How did he do that? Well, I've got a suspicion. The family claimed they were told he had died in ICE custody, but then he turned up alive in a Guatemalan hospital. The story, which was initially reported by the Morning Call out of Allentown before being picked up by the Daily Beast, the Guardian, and the Independent, was shut down by the Department of Homeland Security. ICE never arrested or deported this man, nor does ICE disappear people, they said in a statement. The Department of Homeland Security also said there's no record of the man appearing at any green card appointment in or around the area of Philadelphia on June the 20th. His family told the reporter that he was sent to a Minnesota detention facility and that a woman claiming to be an immigration lawyer called them to say he had died in ICE custody and offered to help them without disclosing this, how she knew about the case. The family claimed later he was found in a hospital in Guatemala from a relative from Chile. But the Guatemalan Institute of Migration, which coordinates with ICE on all deportations from the U.S., said they'd not received anyone with the name, age, or nationality. Now keep in mind, this story went viral for quite a while. And while Guatemala has agreed to receive U.S. deportees from other Central American countries, the agreement doesn't extend to South America. The man from the story was granted political asylum in the U.S. in 1987. He worked in a manufacturing plant for 40 years before retiring, the Morning Call reported. However, ICE states its only record of him entering the U.S. is in 2015 from Chile under a visa waiver program. So even that part's not true. A death certificate matching his name and date of birth from Santiago, Chile in 2019 was presented to the Morning Call by a Chilean journalist. So he died 6 years ago, but it didn't stop them, the family, from lying. They created a very detailed lie. And of course, the media that checks and sources nothing ran with it, and this story went viral. I saw it as recently as 2 days ago. This is nuts. Now, what I'm wondering is, was this guy still being sent like Social Security payments or something? Was there someone receiving benefits from him? Was the U.S. government never told he died? I don't know. But there's something up with this, no doubt. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
This is Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yes. I just a quick question. Why are you deflecting from the real story?
Are you going to go back to Epstein? Yeah.
I am.
What is the story of Epstein that I'm deflecting from? Tell me the updated story that's news.
That the Wall Street Journal reported that Pam Bondi, back in May, told Trump that his name appears several times.
And President Trump was asked about this yesterday by a reporter. He says that's not true. That's a lie. He's suing the Wall Street Journal for their slanders. Didn't happen. It was a lie.
Okay.
What kind? I wonder, why is a man like you so against Trump?
Well,
you got daddy. Do you have daddy issues? Did your dad not love you enough? What is it with Trump that turns you off so much? I'm just curious, what kind of American man doesn't support President Trump? It seems kind of like a strange thing to me.
No, here's the situation, is that just like Clinton should go to jail if he was found guilty of being a pedophile, sleeping with these underage girls on the side.
Who was found guilty of that didn't go to jail? You didn't answer the question. You didn't like the question. What is it? What is the problem? No. The problem you have. I'll tell you what. Your problem with Trump is a very simple one. You're straight, right?
No, my problem is with pedophiles.
No, I know. No, it's not. Pedophiles belong to jail. Listen.
And you, sir, are protecting him. You are a bootlicker.
Okay.
Instead of being
your problem with. All right, appreciate the call. You know what his problem is with Trump? Because he mentioned Clinton. Other than being president for 2 terms, what do Clinton and Trump have in common? You know what it is? Women want to be with them. Women want to be with them. Well, maybe not Clinton anymore. And what that guy's problem is a pretty simple one. He's jealous and has issues with men that women are attracted to, obviously, especially beautiful women. And you can tell he's the kind of guy that women have chosen a life of celibacy for. What do they call that? Incels, involuntary celibacy. I saw that on an episode of Criminal Minds. Now, I want to talk to you about Dr. Philip Appleton and his amazing laser away pain treatment. I first met Dr. Appleton 3 years ago. A salesperson from the sales department said, hey, we've got this doctor coming on. He says, he told me about him. I'd never met Dr. Appleton before. He says, do you have any pain? I said, yeah, I've got this knee pain that I've suffered from for like 30 years. And he's like, okay, he treats that. I said, okay. So the next day we went over to see Dr. Appleton, and I talked to first time I met Dr. Appleton. He treated me. It was a Thursday, Then I went back on Saturday for a follow-up, and here I am 3 years later, and my 30 years of massive suffering in my knee, the pain was gone, and it has not returned 3 years later. 3 years after the treatment, the pain still has not returned. And you know what? It's not going to. And I remember, when I was on the air, it was really bad this time of year. During the rainy season is when it would hurt the most. And I always kept to my left a stool, a high stool. And if you go back on YouTube and watch some shows before 3 years ago, in particular when we were at our studio in Boca, you'll see me oftentimes with my left hand on the back of this high chair, this stool. And the reason I did that is so I could shift the weight to the left side of my body, because my right knee hurt so much I couldn't put weight on it and stand for 3 hours. Now there's no stool, there's no chair, I'm not leaning on anything, and I'm putting my weight properly on my right foot because I'm right-handed, so I'm right-footed. And the pain, I remember what it was like because it was bad. And this time of year, during the hurricane rainy seasons, the pain would be so bad, I'd almost be in tears. But after Dr. Appleton treated me 3 years ago, he rid me of that pain that I suffered from for 30 years. And here, 3 years later, the pain has not returned. It's amazing. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain, too. Works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. Online, AppletonCairo.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I just want to say first, really quick, I really enjoy your wait time music, and I would really like to know how much of Donald Trump's dick.
Okay, there you go. First dump of the day. All right. Oh my goodness. It's amazing that we sent men to the moon and they returned safely to the earth. When you look at what we have for men today in this country, the other day I went to Wawa and I went to put air in my tire. I got gas and I was a little low on air. I ran over a screw. Right. By the way, Friendly Tire, they do tire repairs, which other places don't. But anyway, so I get gas. There's a guy, when I start getting gas, he's at this air pump. And when I'm done getting gas, he's still there. And I'm like, what is going on with this guy? He's just putting air in his tire. So I pulled up next to him. His wife walks over, and she's looking at the numbers on the air pump. This is at Wawa, right? And the one in Parkland. And she says to her husband, are the numbers supposed to be going down? And I looked, the number was like at 17, then it went to 16, then to 15. His wife said, are the numbers supposed to be going down or up on the pump? And he says, no, down. He says, that's how much more air, I couldn't believe this, that the tire needs. When it gets down to 0, it'll be full. And the guy didn't know he was letting the air out of his tire. He was a young guy, about 30-ish, with his wife. That's a man today. These guys I'm talking to on the phone, metrosexual, incels that are just dysfunctional, girly men. And you can tell by the calls I've been getting from these guys. Just sad. Would any of you women want to be with these guys? 1 hour down, 2 to go. We'll be right back.
stay clear with a low of 82. Weather brought to you by Kalea Pain Relief Cream. Is pain robbing you of your
We'll be back in about 1 minute. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian. I cannot believe it is Thursday already. This week has flown by. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. If you just tuned in, you've missed a lot. We were talking about Tulsi Gabbard's historic press conference yesterday where she named names, gave dates, and had all the records and receipts for the press on the coup organized and led by Barack Obama that's continuing even to this day. One of the people that Tulsi named was James Clapper, who was the director of national intelligence involved in overseeing this coup. He went on CNN in a panic. He's already lawyered up, and it looks like he might be the one that's looking to make a deal. Listen to him. Here he is with Caitlin Collins yesterday on CNN. Clapper, idiot. That's right. You know, oh, by the way, this Pam Bondi strike force, I like this. I was so excited to hear that. I did not want to hear special counsel, right? Special counsels are where you go to drag things out and keep them going forever and ever and ever. Strike force, which I hope is made up of Kash Patel and Dan Bongino in some way, shape, or form. That sounds like action, doesn't it? Yes. Yeah. Oh. See, this is what they don't understand. They made a counterfeit intelligence analysis that said there was Russian interference, right? Like, if the Secretary of Treasury got together with a couple guys and went and printed up a bunch of cash money at the Mint for themselves, how would you tell that it was different from the authorized money? It's not the same kind of counterfeit because it's made at the U.S. Mint. It's printed with their ink and their print. You wouldn't be able to tell it apart, right? But they would take the money themselves for their own purposes. That's what they did. Clapper, Brennan, Comey, and others at the direction of President Obama. They took their system of making intelligence reports and they created one out of pure fiction. So it looked real. Why would it not? It's on the official, this is how they do it. It's on the official letterhead, done by the same officers, signed by the right people. This is why Ted Cruz's committee came with the findings they came with. Like if you had a $100 bill that you just got from the bank, and then you had a $100 bill that somebody at the U.S. Mint printed unauthorized, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart because it's the same place they came from. They leave that part out of everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's lawyered up. An innocent man. Really? Why? Why? Why does he have attorneys? He's already lawyered up, Clapper. See, and they're also leaving out that this is all new evidence that had been hidden for years. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
You know, it's amazing to me that Barack Obama is supposed to be a law professor from Harvard. And what does he say? He talks about that, we all know that Russia tried to hack the election but weren't successful. What does that have to do with him, what he did? You know, he's not talking about anything he did. He doesn't have any explanation why he did what he did. He just doesn't want to say anything. This guy is so guilty, he can't say anything, I guess.
Well, see, this is the thing I've been explaining to you guys. Clapper and all these people, they don't think they've committed treason. They think they're heroes that were saving the country from itself. You understand that? They don't think that they were committing treason. They think that they're national heroes. And that, I know that's a hard concept to understand, but it's true. They're insane. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Jerome. How's it going, Brian?
Odd way to say my name, but why do you say it like that,
How's it going,
Brian? Why do you say it in such a weird way?
Don't worry about it. What are you crying about today, Brian? Let's hear it.
Turn on the show and listen. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Oh, hey, Renee.
Lion Brian, the bigot midget. It's funny that you were talking about the state of masculinity.
Hold on. Yeah, the state of masculinity. Oh, yeah. You're going to tell me about how to be a man? Oh, I can't wait to hear this, Renee. The man with a girl's name is going to tell me how to be a man. Go ahead, Renee.
You're the farthest from it.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you can't even figure out my name is an example of it.
Yes.
You're the reason they had the Jim Crow, because your women don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like you. They like us.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't stand it.
Yeah.
So you developed a plan to deal with us because you lose. Because we take your women.
Oh, my goodness. You know, we've heard from a lot of Democrats on the line today in the last hour and 11 minutes. Every one of them has had some type of psychological disorder. I haven't spoken to a single Democrat on the line today who's not a mental patient.
A mental patient. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Look who's talking. Look who's talking. Your guy is a rapist and a racist. And you're talking, and the guy likes golden showers.
Okay.
You don't even know what it is.
All right, take care. I'm sure you do. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, what these people don't understand is that this coup is still ongoing.
Yeah. That's right.
This coup, I mean, it's morphed into what they're doing with the judges now, but again, to get at these judges, you're gonna have to go back to the very beginning and get at the people who started this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and that's because Obama, Comey, Clapper, Brennan, you know, all these people that we know that have been in these releases by Tulsi Gabbard. And by the way, I think Tulsi Gabbard has more stuff. She probably has truckloads more stuff.
Yeah. Oh, no, she hasn't released everything yet. This is just the beginning. This is just phase 2.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I mean, like I said, these judges, we need to do something about these judges because they're adding to the problem. These hundreds and hundreds of judges.
Well, what you have, you know, you've heard Republicans say over the years, talking about liberal judges, calling them activist judges. I mean, that's what you have. You have a bunch of liberal activists that have become federal judges. That's what it is.
And you've got people like Andrew Weissman, that's a lawyer, and Mark Elias, and people like that are part of it too. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, these people, they keep calling. Oh, we want to talk about what's his name? You know, we want to talk about first off, Epstein's dead, and second off, it was a promise that was made during the election. We're gonna find
Yesterday,
out
listen, President Trump ordered Pam Bondi to release all the documents. They're sealed under federal court order. Pam Bondi went to a judge to unseal the records. The Obama-appointed judge, a judge appointed by Obama in 2014, refused to unseal the Epstein files, which includes this list that everyone's talking about. So go talk to the Obama-appointed judge.
That's right. So unless we can find a way to impeach that judge and put somebody in that will release it, fine. Okay.
All right. Appreciate the call. Exactly. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Jacob from Palm Springs, California.
Hey, Jacob. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mr. Levitt. How are you doing
Oh,
today?
boy. Here we go. Another dump, Mike. I tell you. You know, we have heard from, I don't know, 10 or 12 liberal men today, right? 10 or 12 liberal men. And each and every one of them has had a different level of dysfunction and anger. Now, what that is that's causing it, I don't know exactly. But there's something out there. And this is what you got to understand. That if Donald Trump had not won the election, whatever Democrat would have ended up as president, whether it was Kamala or Biden, if none of that had happened, the people that we're hearing from, that's their constituency. Now, I want to tell you guys, I was talking earlier, it was raining cats and dogs. I mean, it was really raining this morning. It was raining hard, and it rained for quite a while. I was surprised because I was like, well, I got to leave, you know, and I didn't want to go through that rain and get soaking wet. And it rained hard. It rained for a while, and then it stopped for a minute, and I ran out to the car. But it is hurricane season in Florida. It rains pretty much every day. Sometimes in the middle of the night when we're sleeping, sometimes in the middle of the afternoon, but it rains every day this time of year. For about 6 months. It's rainy season, it's hurricane season. If you need a roof replacement or repair, whether it's residential, commercial, even municipal, you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. You know, one of our listeners, I had a big condo. He'd had 4 or 5 guys come out and give estimates. They all said, you need a new roof, you need a new roof. Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing came out and said, no, you just need a repair. Now, if you need a new roof, he'll do that too. But if you don't and you just need a repair, he'll take care of you. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. Remember, he covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. 954-604-5454. 4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaPortaRoofing.com. We'll be right back. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll get back to some calls in a bit. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 1-888-465-2631. So I was telling you a little while ago that this story that ICE apprehended this 82-year-old man, deported into Guatemala, and he died in ICE custody. was totally made up, even though the family gave interviews with multiple news outlets and it went viral and it was a global media story. The guy died 6 years ago. Something else. Well, here's another one of the dreamers. An illegal alien accused of killing 18-year-old Haley Hagelson in a drunk driving crash in Wisconsin. This is nuts. An illegal alien has been accused of killing 18-year-old Haley Hagelson in a drunk driving crash in Dane County, Wisconsin, as well as seriously injuring her boyfriend, who's 19. She's a 30-year-old illegal alien with a history of drunk driving. She's been arrested and charged with second-degree homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle, a second-degree homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle with prohibited alcohol concentration. Boy, in Wisconsin, they write their laws and charges like the stereo directions. So she's charged with drunk driving and knowingly operating a vehicle on a revoked license, among other charges. Oh my goodness. Revoked is beyond suspension. On July 20th, the illegal was allegedly drunk driving when she crashed into Haley and Brady, who were in Brady's Volkswagen. When first responders arrived, Haley was unresponsive and pronounced dead. At the scene, this is just god-awful. These are all crimes that would never have been committed if President Trump was in the White House the last 4 years. That's it. And, you hear these liberals, and they tell you all these things. Well, Americans do these crimes and things like that. What does that mean? These are all crimes that would never have happened if the Democrats, if Biden, if Kamala, if Obama had not erased our southern border, if the Autopin people did not erase our southern border. All these people would be alive. I watched the victim statements, some of them yesterday, for that god-awful murder of those college kids. And I know that all but one of the families agreed with this plea bargain. That was so upsetting to me that guy did not get the... I'm pro-life. All right, I'm very strongly opposed to abortion. And I'm also... if I were on a jury, it'd be hard for me to send someone to the death chamber. It really would, because I'm so pro-life. But in this instance, a death sentence is what the guy needed. I watched these victim statements. I like the one mother who talked about the A's and the D's and all that. That was funny. I was glad that somebody stood up and said that. But this guy, it's almost like he got away with it. He should have gotten the death penalty, and shame on the prosecutors for even offering up such a deal. What a bunch of cowards. And all murder is god awful and bad, but when young people like this 18-year-old girl are killed by this illegal, they didn't even have a driver's license in the country illegally, a long history of drunk driving, just like those college kids, they've taken not just their lives away, right, because they killed them, but think about everything else. They'll never be married. They'll never have children, grandchildren, nothing. When you kill these young, murder's always bad, but the younger it is, especially kids that haven't even started their life yet, it's even more tragic, isn't it? This is one of your dreamers. Are they sending women to Guatemala too? How do you Democrats live with yourselves? What goes through your mind? What we have are just a bunch of psychotics. Maybe what Bobby Kennedy's doing, getting the food cleaned up, will end some of this nutty behavior and attitude and personality defects we have in so many American people. Maybe all these things the dyes and all these other things that Bobby Kennedy's getting out of the processed foods, maybe that's causing a lot of the mental issues we're hearing from so many Americans. But when I see these stories, the way I always think, these are all crimes, these are all deaths, these are all victims that never would have been victimized. Crimes that never would have happened if the border was not erased by the Democrats. And the Democrats don't care. They don't care. How many of them voted against that Lake and Riley Act? All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. When we get back, I'm going to get into the Tulsi Gabbard press conference yesterday, which was fantastic. Did you guys catch it? We'll be right back. Ricky B., thank you so much. I appreciate that. We'll be back in about 1 minute. Hey guys, everyone in the chat, welcome. If you're in the chat, you'd like to call in, the number is pinned right there in the chat, so feel free to call in. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in less than a minute. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Before we get to the Tulsi stuff yesterday, I just saw this story a little while ago I wanted to share with you. IKEA, this is from The Federalist. You can find this article at thefederalist.com. IKEA fires Christian employee who refused to use trans pronouns. I believe IKEA discriminated against me. This is the plaintiff. I believe IKEA discriminated against me by failing to accommodate my sincerely held religious beliefs against using they, them pronouns when addressing a transgender employee. And they terminated me for misgendering. An Indiana IKEA employee was fired after refusing to call his coworker they or them and filed an official complaint due to unlawful termination, the Indiana Family Institute said in a Wednesday press release. Stephen Ressler, a devout Christian who believes there are only two genders. Well, isn't that just science? I mean, you know. And who's worked at IKEA since 2019, was under investigation in December for misgendering his coworker. Soon after, Ressler filed for a religious accommodation request to inform my employer of my religious beliefs and engage in the interactive process in good faith, the press release said. 3 days after filing the religious exemption, Ressler was fired on the basis of misgendering. I believe IKEA discriminated against me by failing to accommodate my sincerely held religious beliefs against using they, them pronouns when addressing a transgender employee, and terminated me for misgendering, Ressler said. Ressler filed a formal complaint with the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, that's the EEOC, and the Indiana Civil Rights Commission, according to the press release. IKEA, the Swedish furniture and home goods store, has a page on their website on how to be an everyday ally and make space for the LGBTQIA plus community. I don't know what the A stands for. I know the I is, it's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. We all know what the Q stands for. The I is intersex. I'm not sure what the A stands for at the end. I guess that's allies, maybe? First off, IKEA. IKEA's got, there's two other problems with IKEA. Have you ever gone to IKEA? Every time I've been to IKEA, I've been to the store a couple times. First time I went was because it was new and everybody was making a big deal about IKEA. And I go to IKEA, I feel like I've been kidnapped. You can't get out. You got to walk. They have this, I guess this is how they operate in Sweden. Once you're in, you're in. You got to walk through the entire store, go through every department, walk by every display, go through their warehouse and everything before you can get out. It's like you're trapped. Right? You can take a break and get some Swedish meatballs maybe, but you're like at their food area, but you're trapped. And I know they think that's a very clever new way to retail, but I don't like that at all. Do you guys like that? Typical of hardcore liberals, right? I mean, it's and have you bought any IKEA furniture? Oh my goodness. You know what putting IKEA furniture together is like? Now, this is not the case anymore because things have changed. But do you know in the 1970s and 80s what the number one cause of divorce was? What do you think? I'm not going to troll for calls. Just think about it for a second. In the 1970s and the 1980s, what was the number one cause of divorce? It wasn't no-fault divorce. After no-fault divorce, of course. What caused more divorces than anything else in the 70s and 80s? Second only to the no-fault divorce law. Do you know what it was? IKEA wasn't around then, at least not in America. No, it wasn't the secretary. The number one cause of divorce in the 70s and 80s, second only to the no-fault divorce law going into effect, was hanging wallpaper. I'm not kidding, wallpaper. Have you ever hung wallpaper? Do not, if wallpaper ever, my wife and I have wallpaper, and we had wallpaper installed in our master bathroom and our guest bathroom. Years ago, we hired someone to do it. I'm not joking. The arguments of hanging wallpaper have led to divorces. Putting together IKEA furniture is like hanging wallpaper. It is frustrating. People get angry. People start yelling. It causes problems. It's like hanging wallpaper. It's that bad. I don't know why it is that bad. But the reason I share this story, this person's going to win this lawsuit. I don't know what their settlement will be because they're not going to get their job back at IKEA. They'll get a settlement, and the settlement will involve something to do with like lost wages or something. But maybe they'll get a few million. I don't know. But this preferred pronoun thing, have you noticed that it's gone out of fashion? I used to see this all the time at Starbucks. You know, you guys go, I go to Starbucks once or twice a day. I'm just addicted to the coffee. Although I've cut my caffeine intake in half by 50%, I still go to Starbucks. I just get smaller drinks. And before Trump was reelected, I saw the preferred pronouns on all the aprons almost, and at all the different Starbucks I go to. And people that worked at Starbucks even had preferred pronouns who were like, not transgender, that are like regular people that are hetero. And I always thought that was kind of weird. I know what your pronouns are. I can tell what you are. But even the normal heterosexual people had the preferred pronouns on that's gone at Starbucks. And I've noticed it elsewhere too. And we've seen what's happened in sports and everything. Leah Thomas with all the titles and victories taken away. Not that these girls still lost everything and destroyed their careers in many instances with the athletes, but this would have been the normal. There was a fencer, a lady fencer on Fox the other day that I saw interviewed who refused to fence with a transgender biological male fencer. And told them, I'm not. This is a women's league. I'm not fencing. Well, they recognized me as wouldn't do it, and that was what a brave woman to do that. But this thing that IKEA did, this transgender preferred pronoun thing, if Donald Trump had not been reelected for this beautiful second and non-consecutive term, this would have exploded, and it's going away. It's going out of style. It was like a fad. And what we're going to have in the next few years, in the next 5 or 10 years, and sooner, but it's going to become a big problem in the next few years, are young people who had these sex change operations that are irreversible with their regret at 20, 30, 40. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a crisis, and it'll all be traced back to this. But this preferred pronoun thing and this transgender thing became a fad. Like I remember in the early 90s, there was this fad of people getting pot-belly pigs. Remember that? People would have pets, pot-belly pigs as pets. And they get these little pigs, and they just eat what you eat, and you're trash and everything, but they didn't realize they'd get to be 300-400 pounds. Remember that? A couple years back, the snickerdoodle, that was a fad. Oh, everybody's got to get a snickerdoodle. They were selling mutts, calling them this new breed and selling them for like $3,000 to $5,000. And it's a mutt, but they called it a new breed. And then liberals, though, instead of the snickerdoodle or the pot-belly pig or the pet rock, they needed to have a transgender child or an intersex child. Or maybe even they themselves were claiming to be this. And the way that this became a thing, I talked about this at the time, and I'm so glad that this lawsuit is happening now with IKEA. This guy's going to win this lawsuit. If Donald Trump had not been reelected, he would lose the lawsuit against IKEA. By the way, if you're on hold, stand by. I'll take some calls in a little bit. But I got a few things I want to get to, and then after the break, I want to get into the Tulsi stuff, I promise you. But I want to talk about this for a moment before the break. This preferred pronoun thing was a psyop done to our country by China through TikTok. I've talked about this a lot, but not for a while, and it's faded away now. And what they did, young people, all they care about are views, clicks, and everything. I mean, look, I give you an example. Candace Owens. she's being sued by Macron and his wife. You may have seen this. And she did some Holocaust denial yesterday that is just so sick. And these MAGA influencers that were attacking our great president a couple weeks ago, why are these people doing this? Well, they're doing it for a number of reasons. I mean, you know, Candace Owens has got a lot of psychological issues, obviously. But that generation, all they care about is views, clicks, likes, and all this stuff on their social platforms. How many views they got and all this stuff. So they do stupid stuff. Like these Instagrammers that take these crazy pictures and they fall off a cliff while they're taking a picture for their Instagram story. A lot of these conservative influencers do the same thing. Well, that's how China did with TikTok and this preferred pronoun. They used TikTok, and people that were trans all of a sudden had 3 to 5 million followers in less than a week. And they started a fad with this generation of transgenderism and preferred pronouns, and they were doing it because they wanted to have 5 million followers on TikTok, and it worked. And look at the impact it's had on our society. It's crazy what's happened. There have always been people like that around. They were few and far between. You know, somebody in my position, I've probably, prior to this era, met more people like that than the average person because, you know, we would have people like this as guests on the show, you know. Some of you longtime Steve Kane listeners, I cannot remember the name. Does anybody remember the name? Maybe Steve does. We used to have this guy. He's got to be passed away by now. He was around 70 years old, a retired senior citizen who was a married man his whole life with children. His wife died. I'm not making this up. His wife died, and he started wearing her clothes. And he was a senior person with the Democrat Party of Broward County. We used to have him in the studio on the show all the time. And he brought his friend, who was a retired naval Master Chief Petty Officer, who was also wearing the ladies' clothes. So, you know, there's always been people like that, but not in the mainstream helping you at Subway or IKEA or Starbucks. But that's how it did. But it's faded away. This is a fad that's gone away, and it's going away as fast as breakdance and parachute pants and fat laces. Although fat laces are probably still worn by a lot of people. But you understand what I mean. It was a fad, and it's gone away because Trump is back. Oh, man. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You know, I started the program in January. I met my goal weight in 3 weeks of losing 25 pounds. I lost over 35 pounds total in just a short period of time. And for the last, I don't know, couple of months I've been in what you call the maintaining phase. I've not gained an ounce back of the weight I lost. And it's easy because with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, you're not taking prescription medications. I didn't have to exercise. Now, if I would have exercised, I would have lost weight faster, but I was losing about a pound a day, and that was fast enough for me. And I was eating foods I would normally eat. I didn't have to eat any fancy foods, and I didn't have to starve myself. So now that I'm in the maintain phase, there wasn't some big lifestyle change. If I had this lifestyle change where I had to go to the gym 3 or 4 days a week, forget about it. Or if I couldn't eat food I liked, forget about it. I would have gained weight back. With Coastal Weight Loss Secret, you don't have those lifestyle changes. So when you get to the maintain phase, it's easy. It's not a problem. It's awesome. Give them a call. We have listeners who have called them and are losing weight all over the United States. So no matter where you're located in the United States, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help. Here's the number, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. Yeah, Snickerdoodle's food. It's Labradoodle's the dog. Whatever. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. If you're on hold, hang in there. I will get to some calls. If you'd like to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Okay, let's get back to Tulsi Gabbard. This press conference Tulsi Gabbard had yesterday was spectacular. It was absolutely amazing. I watched it live, and it was amazing. It really was. When I opened up the show at 6, I said this, and it's so true. Out of every single White House press conference in history that did not have a president at it, yesterday's was the most historically significant, without question. Even maybe more so than press conferences with presidents. I'd have to think about that a little bit longer before I made that statement, but it was historic because she came out, Tulsi Gabbard, she came out with details detailing how a president of the United States organized a misinformation coup, crafted false intelligence on the president-elect of the United States and his successor that is still ongoing today. All this Epstein stuff in the news is back to that Obama meeting on December the 9th. And she went through this, Tulsi Gabbard, in such beautiful detail with the receipts. She's got the records, the documents. And they go to the press, and the press was, they could not care less. Or they could care less, I should say. They could care less. Half of them looked like they were trying to stay awake. It's crazy. And, you got to wonder, don't these people want breaking news? I was talking a moment ago about how all these influencers and young people want attention and they want to go viral. These reporters, they're not in the news business. They're in the business of covering up the news. And the few questions that were asked were all stories trying to discount it. One of them was, the Supreme Court ruled on presidential immunity. That's not what the Supreme Court ruling said. Presidents do not have immunity while they're president or at any point in their life to go out and live a life of crime. They have immunity from actions taken that are official presidential acts. It's like our Pope. Okay? The Pope isn't speaking for God. He's not speaking for the church unless he's sitting, on his throne and he's making some statements about the church itself. If he renders an opinion on global warming somewhere, that's not an official church position and it's not biblical. You understand what I'm talking about? Presidents don't have immunity to go out and commit. I give you an example. If presidents had presidential immunity, that literally means they could go out, rape and murder throughout their life, or even while president, and nothing would happen to them. Why do we have impeachment processes then? Why are presidents impeached? When Bill Clinton suborned perjury with Monica Lewinsky in the Paula Jones case, why was he impeached if presidents have immunity? If presidents have immunity, why was President Trump arrested 3 times by these coup conspirators? Because it doesn't exist. The immunity is for official acts. As an example, the one I always give, if they call in an airstrike and they kill a whole village of people to take out a terrorist, they can't be charged with murder or sued or anything. Those kind of things. Everybody knows this. But now they're saying presidents have immunity. Really, if they have immunity, why are they arresting President Trump all the time? Why are they talking about Epstein? If presidents have immunity. So Ted Cruz, who's a lawyer, he was the Solicitor General of Texas before he was the senator. There was talk of him going to the Supreme Court. I'd love to have Ted Cruz on the Supreme Court of the United States. He'd be spectacular. So Laura Ingraham had Ted Cruz on Fox last night talking about this presidential immunity. Does Obama have immunity? Listen. Mm-hmm. Okay, it goes on. So there is not presidential immunity. Now, neither of them think that Obama is going to be charged. I don't agree that that's a done deal. You got to understand, we all like Ted Cruz, you all like Laura, but these are Republican establishment people. Ted Cruz has a long history with the Bush family, okay? We all like him. He's been doing the right thing, but he's got, and Laura Ingraham goes back to the days of Reagan with the Republican Party. So these are 2 long-term lifers in the Republican establishment. So I don't expect them to go as far as our new era of Trump Republicans would go. But there is no presidential immunity for illegal acts like that. So don't, that's just nonsense. All right, let's take a call or two. We're approaching the top of the hour. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ, what's up?
Well, Tulsi and Caroline were fantastic yesterday. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Very happy about Mike Lindell's win against Zedman and that $5 million. But I'm looking at the media, like you're saying, it looked like they were asleep, and they were, they're sort of, to me, the Democrats, the pundits, the voters, the Democrat media, and especially the politicians, they're all a little bit on the unstable
Well, that's a technique. I went to a rally in Trump's first term at the Panthers Stadium, or by Sawgrass, whatever. I don't know what they call that stadium now, but where the Florida Panthers play. It was the week of Thanksgiving in his first term, and I had a really good seat, and I was facing where the press was. And while he was speaking, they were laid back in their chairs, talking amongst themselves. Some of them were nodding off. That's a technique to disrupt the speaker. We used to have this board op that used to pull that crap, right? During the show, he didn't like the show, and I'm looking at the board op, and he would doze off or do anything other than pay attention to the show. When you're board opping, I used to board op for a show that was in Creole at WKAT in North Miami. I'm not kidding, and I would act as if I was listening to the show for their. When the press acts the way they act, like they're asleep yesterday during the press conference, it's a technique to silently try to throw off the speaker. And it can be effective with some people. It's not nice when your audience is asleep.
It's not gonna work with Caroline. I can understand the psychology of that. I looked at it more as just the overwhelming. This is fantastic. I'm looking at it. It's just everything I thought. I thought all this stuff, but to have the proof is really good. But for me, it was more of a sort of a shock and jaw, dropping moment, delusional denial, this surprise blank stare, and it's because in order for them, they have to avoid it, because if they admit it, their whole life has been they've been living in this lie, and if they admit that the evidence is right here, then they have to admit it. To admit it is to admit that they were. That's right.
That's correct.
They are alive.
That's right.
And they're avoiding the hell out of it.
Well, listen, I'm up against the top of the hour, and you're right. They'd have to admit that they were reporting false news, right, for years. All right, take care. All right, we'll take our break for the top. 2 hours down on this Thursday. 1 hour to go. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. Back after this. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. We'll be back shortly, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. Less than a minute, we'll be back, guys. Sarah, good to see you, Sarah. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, this show is flying by. The third hour has just begun. I can't believe it. And it's already Thursday. The day's flying by, the show's flying by, and the week is flying by. You know why? Because we got all this great news. All right, so let's get back to this. So Tulsi Gabbard, I didn't realize she is a tall woman. Did you see her next to Caroline Leavitt yesterday? Holy smokes. That press conference yesterday was amazing. She went out there, Tulsi Gabbard, and laid out in detail this entire conspiracy that Obama started we've been talking about all week. And she released all the documents. And I want you guys, before I play this next clip of CNN's reaction to that, I just want to remind you guys about her background a little bit. I know you know, she's a Democrat. It's more than that. She was not just a lifetime Democrat. She was a hardcore leftist who was a senior person in the Democrat establishment. And I want to remind you of something that she did about 5 years ago. And it really, it's not that I've forgotten about it, but I hadn't thought about it until I saw her at the press conference yesterday. And she was wearing that white suit, and I've seen her wear these white suits many times. So, in the first Democrat presidential debate when Biden was running, remember he got his clock cleaned by Kamala Harris? That's right. She cleaned his clock. Kamala Harris won that first debate. She humiliated Biden. She brought up a lot of his racist past. Remember that? And I mean destroyed Biden. After that debate, not only did she win, there was talk of her getting the nomination. Well, the Democrat establishment, they weren't going to put up with that. So, and the Bidens were furious. So do you remember what they did? They started a fake presidential campaign for Tulsi Gabbard. They poured enough money into her fake campaign so she would qualify to be in the presidential debate. Because to be in the debate, you had to raise a certain amount of money as one of the qualifiers. So they brought Tulsi Gabbard in wearing a white outfit like she was yesterday. That's what brought it to my mind. They brought Tulsi Gabbard in to the second debate, the second Democrat debate. After 9 o'clock. Do nothing until after 9 o'clock, but after 9 o'clock, go look up that debate. Tulsi Gabbard destroyed Kamala Harris. She pointed out how she hid evidence in a death penalty case when she was Attorney General in California and arresting parents whose kids skipped school, and there was some other things too. I don't remember. It's been a long time. She destroyed Kamala Harris in that second Democrat debate to the point that not only did Kamala Harris drop out, the next time they took a poll, Kamala Harris was polling at 1%. 1% among Democrats. Ran her out of the race. And then Tulsi dropped out because the whole campaign was fake. Biden wasn't mentally, because of his cognitive decline, able to take on Kamala. So they brought Tulsi in to do it. So what I'm trying to stress to you is, she wasn't just a Democrat. She was a senior Democrat who was so close to the Bidens that she did this incredible favor for Joe and Jill Biden. And that was really amazing at the time. And I know we see Kamala now as this wino drunk, like that. Did you see that new video of her hammered at backstage at some play? But at the time, she was fresh off the Kavanaugh hearings, where she was barking at Kavanaugh, and then she had the debate with Biden where she was that girl, about his segregation history and all that. People, it's hard to imagine, but there was talk of her being president of the United States. There was serious talk they were going to give her the nomination. And Tulsi was so tight and so high up with the Democrats that she did this. Now, some point along the way, she got red-pilled a little bit along the way, and maybe Butler was the final hurdle for her. But, you forget who she is and was and where she came from. That's how credible she is. What I mean is, she was one of those senior people who believed, I guess because she's out of Hawaii, she's so far, even though she was in Congress, she's so far removed from the power base in D.C. and the Democrat structure that she was like a true believer, thinking that the Democrats were all these things. And then when she was on the inside, she got to see what happened, and then she saw what they did to Trump. She got to see what they were really about. And so you got to understand, this is, one of the biggest red pillings in history. Bobby Kennedy too, coming from the Kennedys, You know how hard it was for Bobby Kennedy to walk out on stage at a Republican rally, at that Trump rally? That was not easy. And that's why everybody gave him a standing ovation out of respect for his dad and his uncle and him and what he was doing. And Tulsi Gabbard deserves a standing ovation too. So you got to understand who she is, where she came from, and how deep she was in the senior Democrat leadership. And she's woken up to all their stuff. I wonder how many white outfits she has. I don't know. Is it the same one she wears over and over? I don't know. So she has this historic press conference where she hands with the documents, with the names, the dates, the declassified ultra-secret documents to the press, and they don't want it. They don't want it. So she goes through everything, and then after the press conference, CNN, who, by the way, CNN cut away from the press conference. As soon as Tulsi Gabbard started speaking, CNN cut away. They didn't want their viewers to even see it. Can you imagine? And part of that is if they act that way, it's like it's not news. What this mainstream CNN attitude, this is part of the Obama coup. Like the Washington Post I was talking about earlier, if you're on hold, stand by. I will get to some calls in a bit, and if you'd like to call in about anything I brought up today, you're certainly welcome to do so. The number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I apologize for being neglectful to those of you on hold, but there's a lot of news to cover. But so CNN and the Washington Post are part of this coup because they're the deep state. And what CNN, they're doing the messaging for these Obama coup conspirators. And what they're trying to spin this into is it's not a story. This isn't a story. So this is CNN right after Tulsi Gabbard's historic press conference at the White House. CNN out in front of the White House covering it. Listen. Okay, what they're telling you, can you imagine? Should we even be reporting this? Come on. It was a long time ago. It was 8 years ago. One of the reporters in the briefing said, oh, this is 8 years. This is not 8 years old. This story is hours old, literally hours old, because we have these new documents that no one had seen before. But their spin is, this is not news. This is not news. Move along. Nothing to see here. This is not news. That's not going to fly. And that's why they have such low ratings. Now, there was an incredible news story yesterday. Now, you may have heard Mike Lindell, a longtime supporter and sponsor of this program, a while back, he lost a lawsuit, a $5 million judgment against him. He appealed that judgment, and yesterday, the appeals judge, the appeals court, overturned that $5 million judgment against Mr. Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow. So he doesn't owe that $5 million anymore. Isn't that something? That's amazing. Look at what they've done to him because he supports Trump. They sued him. FBI raided him, took his phone. I wonder if Cash and Dan Bongino have given Mike Lindell his phone back. They should. They kicked him out of all these big stores like Walmart, Kohl's, and others, and he won. The appeals court overturned the $5 million. That was a personal judgment. That's right. And what better way to celebrate than go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, and load up. You know, you can use our promo code site-wide on all the specials there and save up to 66%. But I've been telling you guys so much about the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, and I've been telling you about it for two reasons. One, it turns your whole bed into a big MyPillow. It's like literally sleeping on a cloud. But also, it is so hot. I mean, the heat index is like 100 degrees here in Florida right now. It's hot. It's hot all over the country. And the MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper, which has huge discounts with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, comes in every mattress size there is, by the way. Comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. The cover of the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, which is completely machine washable and dryable, is made of that temperature-regulating technology like the MyPillow 2.0. So during these hot summer months, even with a heat index of 100 degrees, you're cool and comfortable with your MyPillow mattress topper. It's like having air conditioning in your bed. Any of you have a car seat that blows cool air conditioning in your car? I don't. My next car's got to have that. Well, that's what it's like with the MyPillow. It's cool all night long. And in the cold winter months, it keeps you warm and toasty because of the material has that temperature regulating technology. It keeps you the perfect temperature like Goldilocks every night of the year. And my wife and I, we've been sleeping on ours for years. When I go to bed and I lay down, I'm out like a light because it's like sleeping on a cloud. Go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and order yours. Again, huge discounts on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll take some calls in a bit. We'll be back in about 1 minute, guys. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It is Thursday already. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take some calls. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from Sanford.
Hey, Bill. What's up, man?
Well, another reason I think that Tulsi was red-pilled was that she was anti-war, and she knows Trump was. And I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I can tell you that once you go to in the service, you're generally anti-war because you see things like Big Headset has seen things that that have to be changed, and you don't want to do that. You want the equipment, you want everything.
Yeah.
And she was definitely anti-war, and she knew Trump was anti-war.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that may be a part of it. That very well could be a part of it. Yeah. See, I think because she was in Hawaii, she was so far removed from the political machine of the Democrat Party, and I have heard her talk about this, and when she was a part of it, she saw what they're really about. It's not about anything they claim to be.
And she's also, I think, the lieutenant colonel in the reserves.
I'm not. Is she still in the reserves in Hawaii? Maybe she in the National Guard.
I think she's still. I think I remember her. Reading that she was lieutenant colonel.
Yeah, I do know. I remember that. I didn't know if she still was in. Yeah. But she's absolutely amazing, and the way she was yesterday in that press conference was just amazing. I listened to every second of it.
Hopefully, down the road, she should qualify for the Medal of Freedom.
And she certainly deserves it. The risk that she's taking is so great that people don't realize it.
Yeah, I mean, she's almost putting the target on her back.
Well, it's because she's not just exposing them; they view her as betraying them. Yeah. On top of it, so she's a traitor and she's exposing them.
Yeah. So she's a fighter. Let me tell you something. I got it. She's got guts. I'm telling you. And she comes across so official, so sincere.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just without notes. I mean, she talks.
I wouldn't say this about many people, but she's very nonpartisan. If you think about it, these days at least.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
But whatever she was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she's able to speak without notes and about everything.
Yeah, and if you follow her online, she's got a YouTube channel, and she puts all this stuff on her YouTube channel, like that press conference yesterday, Tulsi Gabbard. But she also surfs. Yeah, she also surfs, and she takes her GoPro when she's surfing. She's like a pro surfer.
Oh my God.
She is like I'm telling you, she could compete. She's like Patrick Swayze in Point Break without the bank robberies. But she's like a top surfer. I've seen her surf. It's amazing. I can't surf, but Tulsi can.
And a very tall woman, as you pointed out. So
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it makes it easier or harder to surf when you're tall.
Yeah, I guess. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. All right, let's go. You're on the air.
Hey, Brian, it's Eric in Alabama.
Hey, Alabama, what's on your mind?
Well, this is absolutely the biggest explosion of news and information that's come out there. And yesterday, that press conference with Tulsi Gabbard and Caroline Levitt and CNN breaking away. Did you hear anything about CBS, NBC, ABC? Did they report on this at all last night?
I didn't see anything about them reporting on it. I don't know if they did or not. Like most Americans, I don't watch the network news.
Okay, well, me either. That's why I asked. And I think I think they're going to cover it up so that whenever Obama does get some handcuffs, it's going to be an explosion.
Let me tell you this. I know that the common thinking is no one's going to go to jail. There's not going to be any charges. I don't agree with any of this. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because President Trump knows that when he's out of office, especially now that he's opened up this can of worms with all the documents, they're going to put him in jail. He's going to go to prison, and he knows that. So he's got to bring people to justice, or he's going to get locked up. And I was very excited about this Pam Bondi strike force she put together. Strike force. It sounds like some spinoff of Charlie's Angels or something. Strike force, But I was so glad to hear that. Not that we really know what it is yet, but I didn't hear her say special counsel. And there was a big push for her you get a special counsel going, and a special counsel is just how you make something last for years and years and nothing gets done. So, a strike force sounds like a team and if the way things are going with Alina Habba might be the head of the strike force team.
Wow. Yeah, I'm concerned about there being an uprising. I mean,
no uprisings. All right, now come on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Strike force sounds like.
Yeah, hold on a minute.
Yeah, well, hold on. Oh my goodness. I love this tactic of yours. You remind me of this.
You got it where you have to listen to that stupid music. So I have to listen to the stupid voice of the stupid music. So I choose that.
No, you do this thing like. Do you remember Ed Schultz on MSNBC? He was a liberal jerk. He's passed away.
No.
Okay, he used to do this thing. He used to guest on people's shows all the time. And every time Ed Schultz would be a guest on someone's show on television, he would never shave or brush his hair. And what he was doing was what you do. He was trying to act like it was no big deal. I didn't even brush my hair or shave to be here. And every time I go to your calls, you're always doing 3 other things like, oh yeah, okay, I'm here. You try to act like it's no big deal you're on the air or that you're calling. You try to act like you don't care. And it's just, it's just it's a funny technique you have. It's a funny technique you have. I know it's stupid, but you do it every time.
That just sounds stupid.
No, but I know it's stupid. That's what it does sound stupid, but you do it. It's crazy. I know you're nuts. It is stupid what you're doing. I agree that what you're doing is stupid. Anyway, why'd you call?
It doesn't make any sense. Talk like you're an adult.
Sounds like I touched a nerve. I should have been a psychiatrist.
No, just talk like you're an adult.
I'd be a great therapist. All right, you called me. What's on your mind?
Boy.
What's on your mind? You called me, man.
Yeah, what's on my mind? All y'all doing is praising this dumb, stupid, idiot woman for bringing out a bunch of lies, thinking that you can throw this up against the wall to get everybody to stop talking about the fact that Trump is on Epstein's file.
No, and in fact, not only is that not only is that not true, President Trump a couple of days ago ordered Pam Bondi to release all the Epstein materials.
No, he didn't.
Excuse me. Yes, he did. Hold on.
He doesn't want it released. You're lying.
Stop.
You're a liar.
Listen.
He doesn't want it released because he's in it.
Okay. So he ordered Pam Bondi to release the files. Many of the files, including this list that everyone's talking about, is under court seal in a federal court. Pam Bondi went to the federal court to ask the judge to unseal all these Epstein documents, which includes the names that you're talking about, the judge denied removing the seal on the Epstein list. The judge, I'm not done yet. The judge was appointed to the federal bench by Barack Hussein Obama in 2014. So an Obama judge has sealed the Epstein list.
Last night on MSNBC, the lawyer for most of those kids that were molested by them came on last night and told about the book that Trump says doesn't exist. He says that the estate of Epstein has the book that Trump says does not exist, that they only have to subpoena it for them to bring it forward.
Yeah.
So the book does exist. Nothing but lies out of Trump's mouth. And y'all are the most dumb idiots.
So why is this so? If this so explain this to me. Explain this to me. If this so-called list will incriminate President Trump, why is this Obama judge refusing to unseal it?
Trump is keeping that thing sealed.
No, they went to the court to unseal it. All right, he's got no answer. He's got no answer. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to talk about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's. Have you called yet? I'm going to give you the number in a moment. Get something to write with. You can get a free doorbell camera from Sloman's that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. And by the way, this camera is great for offices and storefronts as well. It's not just for residences. But Sloman's are also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, plus a backup battery. And you'll get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call right now, toll-free, 833-283-5050, 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. All right, we'll be back shortly, guys. In about a minute, we'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Call us on hold. Hang in there. If you'd like to call in, please do. Toll free 1-888-465-2631. See, their talking point on these Epstein files and this Epstein list just evaporated when this Obama-appointed judge refused to unseal the list. What are we supposed to do? Trump's supposed to go against federal judges now? You want to go against federal judges? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it. Bill from Boynton Beach.
Hey, Bill.
I had to call in because we have another episode of Brian tries to make his listeners stupid.
Oh.
You've been lying all morning. Brian, seriously, you've been lying all morning.
What did I lie about?
You're trying to,
Tell me the lie.
You're trying to, well, let me speak. You're trying to conflate two different things that are not associated. When Trump gave his direction to Bondi, he said, go to the judge, petition the judge to open the grand jury testimony. That had to do with Epstein and Maxwell. That's all it had to do with. He didn't say anything. I mean, to say, well, go and ask him to open the list, to release the list. The judge doesn't have the list. And why would he tell her to go and release the list?
No, that's not true. No, excuse me. There's not. Slow down a second here. I'm not. Listen, I'm here. Listen, I'm here till 9. I'm here till 9. You've called me a liar, and I'm going to defend my name. Okay, so just calm down for a minute. You can go back. You can go back.
You can't.
Well, I can't if you won't stop talking with you on the phone.
Well,
but I'm going to keep you on. I'm keeping you on.
No.
If I, now, if I'm trying to cover up something, why would I keep you on calling me a liar? But here's what happened. The great Alan Dershowitz, most famous American lawyer alive today, he said, and he was intimately involved in these cases because there was some false accusations made against him, and he took them to court and won. And
you're deflecting.
No, I'm not. I'm explaining. No, if I were deflecting, why would I keep your idiot self on the phone? So what Alan Dershowitz, excuse me. I'm trying to keep you involved in the discussion here. I know you don't want me to get these things out. Okay?
I know what you're going to say. I already know.
Well, maybe not everybody in the audience is not as smart as you are, Boynton Beach. Here's the thing. Alan Dershowitz said, in these sealed court records are all the names. He said it's not a list, yes. All right. I'm going to give you one last opportunity to let me finish, and then I'll go to you. Okay? I mean, I'm keeping you on. You're challenging me. You're calling me a liar. If I was covering things up, why would I keep you on? Alan Dershowitz, who's very much involved in this because he's been involved in court cases involving the whole Epstein matter because of the false accusations made against him. So he said there's not a list in the, like a grocery list, a list of things. He said the names are within the court records, okay, but they're sealed. So Pam Bondi went to a federal court to get these things unsealed with all the names, and the Obama judge refused to unseal them yesterday. That's a fact.
No, that's not true. Trump told Bondi, petition this judge to open the testimony given before a grand jury regarding only Epstein and
okay,
Maxwell.
NBC News. I'm going to read to you from NBC News, and this is liberal, right? NBC News. Do you agree that they're liberal? They hate Trump?
No.
Oh, NBC News is not liberal?
Before you read it, before
I read it.
Why would Trump and Bondi say, I'm going to petition the judge to release
I don't know that they said that. And but I'm going to read the story. I am going to read, excuse me. You got to chill out. I'm going to read the story from the Trump-hating left-wing Democrat NBC News. Okay? This is NBC News. It's on their website. I will post this to X. A federal judge in Florida ruled Wednesday, that's yesterday, that the court's hands are tied in releasing federal grand jury transcripts. This is where Dershowitz said all the names are, from 05 and 07 in connection with an investigation into Jeffrey Epstein.
Two different things. Said grand jury testimony.
That's where the names are.
No, it's two different
and
things.
Here's another thing. If they're trying to cover, if they're trying to cover this up, why is the Attorney General, they already got the meeting set up for the deposition, why are they taking a deposition from Ghislaine Maxwell here in Florida?
They don't have the deposition set up.
They got a date. Her lawyer said they got a date to meet. They got a date to meet. Why are they open to making a deal with her? Why are they talking to her?
It's not a deposition.
It will be. It will be.
An attorney.
Okay, well, whatever. Forget about the word deposition. Why are they reaching out to Maxwell then? Why is Pam Bondi in the Trump administration?
They are going to interview her.
Why are they doing that?
Well, because they obviously don't want her to reveal things that they don't want revealed.
She knows everything. She knows everything.
She is the Rosetta Stone, according to a number of people. There's no question about it.
Well, she was there for all of it. So the Trump administration tries to get the records unsealed. They're talking to Giselle Maxwell. You know, it sounds like they're being pretty transparent and trying to get everything out. But you hate Trump, and nothing will be good enough for you.
That came up when she made the statement a few days ago that she would like to talk to someone about it, and the theory is that she's trying to get some kind of deal.
Sure.
Okay?
Now, I got one question for you, okay, that I'd like to hear an answer for.
Knock yourself out.
Tell us the real reason you hate Trump.
I voted for him for 3 times. I'd vote for him again.
I didn't ask you if you voted for him. Tell us why you really hate Trump.
Here's the point of my call, okay?
What, that you're a liar?
He has.
What's your real? I didn't ask you to go. What is the real reason you hate Trump?
He has done spectacular.
But why do you hate him? Why do you really hate him?
I don't hate him, but he's ruining his legacy by playing this game with the list. The list
that is sealed by the federal. All right, I appreciate the call. Oh my goodness, is it not amazing? All these Trump haters voted for Trump 3 times. All of them. 6 if you include the primaries. You believe that? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Mark from Jupiter.
Hey, what's up, Jupiter?
Hey, listen, so you touched on it, and I'll be brief. I know you're coming up against a break here. Well, let's take a look at it. We've got from 2016 to 2025, multiple witch hunts, multiple jurisdictions, all of that malarkey Well,
Malarkey.
and two assassination attempts that we know of, all of that, and all they had to do was unseal the Epstein files. That just tells you that there's nothing there.
Exactly.
How much money do we spend as taxpayers
Exactly.
to try to prosecute this man and his family? And all we had to do was unseal by an Obama judge. It's completely clear.
And if you noticed, just to get taking it away from this, the two biggest conspiracies, well, two of the biggest, because the JFK and the MLK assassinations. That we get the files, there's nothing there. JFK files all released, there's nothing there after all these years. The Martin Luther King files got released on Monday or Tuesday. Here it is Thursday. Nobody found anything out of them. These files are all useless with nothing in them. And when they find nothing, they say, well, that's proof of a greater conspiracy. I mean, you can't, listen, this whole Epstein matter is in the news because it's a psyop by Obama's cronies to cover up this coup that's been exposed by Tulsi.
No doubt about it. You cannot find this story anywhere in the national news. I saw one article that was buried.
Oh, you mean about the judge? Yeah, I did.
This whole situation now.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I've been waiting. I didn't bring it up because I was waiting for liberals to call me about Epstein because I knew they would when I started talking about Tulsi's press conference, and I wanted them to try to explain this to me. She's white, the judge, so which is unusual for an Obama judge. So right. Most people assume she's a Republican because she's white, but she was appointed by Obama. She's an Obama judge. All right, appreciate the call, man. You're calling from Jupiter?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect lead in to me talking about Jupiter Joe Thomas. Jupiter Joe. Jupiter Joe Thomas. I tell this to Joe sometimes when he's in studio with me, and this is true. I make a big deal that it's Jupiter Joe Thomas, and I do it for two reasons. One is it makes it easier to remember his website, jupiterjoe.com, where you can find his phone number if you miss it when I give it out to you in a moment, jupiterjoe.com. But the other thing is Jupiter is a very fancy, exclusive community here in Florida. It was made famous by the great American actor Burt Reynolds. Believe me, I was so sad I never got to meet Burt Reynolds. But Jupiter, it's where Don Jr. lives. It's a very exclusive area. And when you're taking financial advice, you want to take financial advice from someone who's based in Jupiter. You get my drift? You want to take advice from someone who's successful. And that's Jupiter Joe Thomas. He's offering free phone consultations, which you can take advantage of no matter where you're located in the United States. And after that phone consultation, he's going to put together a custom proposal just for you. So give him a call and set it up. 561-743-0999. Next time he's in studio, I got to ask him about some things. I was a guest on Joe Thomas's radio show the other day, and he does a lot more than annuities. I had no idea. So next time I'm in studio with him, maybe we'll talk about some of those things. Give Joe Thomas a call, 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back. Hey there, hold on. We'll be back in 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. All right, we are back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. And it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Metals looking a little lower again, trading in this trading range we've been in for quite some time now. Gold trading between $3,300 and $3,400. Every time it gets up over the $3,400 number, they seem to knock it back down, giving us a buying opportunity. So yesterday we saw gold after getting up to $3,437, selling off down $44.70 to $33.8570. Silver lost a nickel at $39.18, while platinum was down $29 at $1,412, and palladium remained unchanged at $12.76. Right now, gold down a little bit more. Gold down $29.60 right now at $33.5810. Silver down 38 cents at $38.80 the ounce. Platinum down $3 at $14.09, and palladium $12.52, down $24. So the market's, like I said, selling off again after getting up into the higher end of our trading ranges, and now just giving us another buying opportunity.
That's right. And what you just heard from William Youngerman was a big announcement. The metals are on sale today. This sounds like a good day to load up. That, buying opportunity, I call that a sale. Give William Youngerman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. His number is 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, or stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. William Youngerman's shop is located on the first floor of the Bank of America building there, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road in Boca. And when you go inside the bank building, William Youngerman is directly across the lobby from the bank lobby. And you can find both his phone number and address on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we're going to finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, back to the phones. There's still time if you want to call in at 1-888-465-2631. Yeah, we've got this Obama judge who is refusing to unseal the Epstein list. So, liberals got some explaining to do. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. How are you today? Two key observations, Brian. One is, if you're a woman, I don't think anybody's given more opportunities in a presidential administration for competent women to have key positions in the administration. I mean, I'm looking at Tulsi Gabbard yesterday, and his press secretary, and his chief of staff, and Bondi heading the legal side of this and that, and even advisors like Laura Loomer and that. Very competent woman, very high profile, and they're loyal. I can't think of an administration that's had so many competent women or as many women in key positions as the Trump administration.
Key on competent, but just a recommendation. I like this strike force idea that Pam Bondi has. I'm hoping she'll put Alina Habba in charge of it because they're running into some trouble with this appointment in New Jersey. But we need a press conference from Pam Bondi announcing the strike force and telling us who they are and what they're going to do, like we had yesterday with Tulsi. This behind-the-scenes stuff, she needs a major press conference about this and announce the members of the strike team. And Kash Patel needs to be involved in that press conference.
Yes. Yeah, that would be a great follow-up to the press the one we had today. One more observation. Can we officially say this is the end of CNN Pravda? Now they can no longer spin the stories. They're just going to cut them. They're just not going to broadcast them at all. I mean,
Yeah.
who does they are? Even the most, I think, loyal supporters of CNN are going to say, hey, wait a minute, what is this? Now they determine what I can see and what I can't see. I wouldn't mind. If CNN went away, I think it'd be a blessing for us. Because
Well,
that's just
I imagine they're running into trouble without the USAID money coming in. That's probably,
I would think so.
USAID's closure is probably why Colbert's off the air. They're not getting that USAID money to prop up the show anymore.
Wasn't that a brilliant tactical move to close down USAID?
Oh yeah, that CNN front organization. That's how they funded everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I don't believe, these stories we hear, like, oh, USAID, we were funding transgender drag show comic books in Brazil. I don't believe that. I think that's just what they wrote down, and they took the money to do other things with. I don't think we were spending money on that stuff, no.
When the American people have really a firmer grip on how much money has been stolen from the American people with all this, they're going to be totally outraged.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to come out too. It's beyond our belief, I think.
That's right. All right, appreciate the call. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to tell you about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I've lost all this weight. It's so great. And when my first appearance on Saturday at Attorney Barry Siegel's office this last week, when I got there, and the first listener that I came across in the parking lot said, "Brian, you look great. You have lost a lot of weight." Yes, I have. And I got so many compliments from listeners about my weight loss. And they say, "Oh, you look great." Well, thank you very much. It's so nice to hear that. And I feel great too. I really do. I feel better. I have more energy throughout the whole day and night. I look better. I got my jaw back. Right? I'm wearing old shirts that I couldn't wear for years. I had to get a new belt. I had to get new pants. I'm wearing clothes that I haven't worn for over 20 years. And I'm at my weight I was when I married my wife, which will be 29 years ago in December. All thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Remember, without eating foods I'm just eating foods I would normally eat. I've not gained an ounce back. I didn't do any exercise and no prescription medications like Ozempic. Now again, I would have lost weight faster if I did exercise, but I lost about 1 pound a day. And losing about 1 pound a day, that's all right by me without exercise. And it worked out well for me because now that I'm in the maintain phase, I didn't have any big lifestyle changes. If I started eating a little piece of food or food I didn't like and had to exercise 3 or 4 days a week and all that stuff, the maintain phase, I wouldn't have made it. But since I didn't have a big lifestyle change, maintaining it is without effort. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. And remember, no matter where you are in the United States, not just local here in South Florida, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right. You missed your chance. Now, I do want to play. I meant to play this early. Didn't get to it. Tulsi, she went on Jesse Waters last night on Fox. Here's a quick clip. I mean, that's like Milli Vanilli had to give back their Grammys for lip syncing. Nakatomi here, whatever her name is, that got the Pulitzer. She's like the Milli Vanilli of the New York Times. But, you know, it is very true that the press, one of the reasons they don't want to report the story is because they have to admit that they were reporting fake news for a couple years. Now, one last thing I want to mention before we leave. Did you see this terrible story of this 22-year-old girl, Elliot Hines? She was found dead 3 days after she vanished walking home from a bar along the Mississippi River. She's a Wisconsin grad student. She was 22. She was murdered. I'm not going to go through the details of it. You know, as a parent of a girl in her 20s, two things. Girls should not travel alone. When I was young, you know, and I was out there on that dating scene, you know, with my young friend, we were going out to bars and clubs. We used to talk about how girls traveled in packs. You guys remember that? They always traveled together. And we used to hate that. It was hard to make your move. The reason girls travel in packs back then, I guess they don't do it as much as they used to, was for protection. Girls should never be alone. And also, don't drink. Don't drink. You know, all these terrible incidents that you hear about, these assault situations, not always, but a lot of the time, they involve alcohol. The girls are drunk. And these college girls, just like college guys, because they're newly over 21, they don't have self-control. And these predators hunt for girls like this. Girls should not be out walking alone. They should not be drinking at this age either, and walking alone. No time to walk alone ever. There's a new thing, I think it was Uber. You can request female drivers now. They shouldn't be taking Uber or Lyft alone. I hate to say it, but that's the world we live in. All right, tomorrow is Friday. That means open phones. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show, Open MAGA Mike Friday. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on Open MAGA Mike Friday. Take care. Have a great day. All right, everyone, we're clear. Thanks so much. Now, before you guys go, I want to tell you, make sure you subscribe. Click that notification bell. You may have noticed about 3 weeks ago now, I reformatted my podcast. Okay? And I now stream live here on YouTube while I'm podcasting. And I take live calls on my podcast. And I do it as a live stream here on YouTube. And then I take that and upload it still to all the podcast platforms. The Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms. But I now do the show live in the afternoons. So make sure you're subscribed and got that notification bell clicked. And I do take live calls on the podcast, all right? So keep an eye out for that. If you don't mind, I would appreciate that. And if you'd like to support my content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of the video. If you're a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes and a lot of other exclusive content that I do not upload anywhere else, all right? And if you're a top Patreon supporter, you get your name up on the screen and a live thank you. And these are my top Patreon supporters that I want to thank. SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, and Janice. If you want to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of the video, and the direct URL is patreon.com/RealBrianCraigShow. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. My name is Brian Craig. This